On this, we bring in small business expert Gene Marks. He's president of the Marks Group. Gene, thank you for giving us a little bit of your time here on this holiday, this kickoff of the new year. We're talking about the president. He's been painting, as it's been noted, this rosy picture of the economy right now. And there are some economic indicators to say things are maybe starting to look a little better on the housing market. The market ended well at the end of the year. Your thoughts on the way the president paints it and how the American people feel about it?
I mean, Molly, it's funny. And I so agree with the comment that I forget the woman's name that she was just on this last post about the president painting a picture that is just not really connected with reality. And I mean, all you have to do is really kind of look at the numbers, Molly. I mean, if you are a consumer, an average buyer, you are paying 22% more for a car than you were just when President Biden took office. You're paying 25% more in gas. Eggs are up. The price of eggs are up 57% since Biden has taken office. The same thing, a price of bread up 43%. And meanwhile, rents are up 21%. So, I mean, I'm throwing these numbers out to you just to give an indication that although inflation levels have been coming down, both consumers and businesses, big and small, are dealing with significant double-digit increases in their costs, and their incomes have not been keeping up with that. That is what the reality is in what's going on. And I think it does really hurt his credibility that he's ignoring that.
Yeah, you know, in one of our recent Fox News polls, we talked about how only 14% say they've actually been helped by Biden's economic policies. And as you mentioned, inflation ticking down, and there are some other things on the forefront, perhaps the Fed not hiking interest rates any further, that could potentially help Americans, especially in the housing market, that sort of thing. But will any of it come in fast enough that the American people will feel it and it could do something for President Biden out on the campaign trail?
I actually think it's just the opposite. I mean, the Fed hiked interest rates so fast in such a short period of time that I think we're only seeing now the absorption of those higher costs, both among consumers and among small businesses. I mean, the prime rate is now 8.5%. Most of my clients who are small businesses are paying a couple of points, above that, 10, 11% for their loans. A lot of this debt is coming due. They need to refinance it, and a lot of them can't because these interest costs are that much higher. Even if the Fed, and hopefully they will, reduce interest costs during 2024, it takes a while for that to reverberate through the economy. And I don't think any reductions that the Fed makes is going to have a big impact, both on business borrowing and consumer borrowing as well by the time November comes along.
Yeah, the president, of course, was asked about his economic outlook for 2024, and here's what he said.
About the economy, sir, what's your outlook on the economy next year? All good. Take a look. Go report it the right way.
All good. Take a look. This is essentially where he's saying, it's the way you're reporting it. You're not saying it right. But as you pointed out just a few moments ago, Gene, people can go to the grocery store and read the prices that are there.
Yeah, it's exactly right. I'll also tell you another thing. You really have to be suspect of anyone that says that all of the American economy is good. We are a giant economy, 360 million people in this country. So all is not good. I mean, you talk to people in the real estate industry right now, and they are suffering. People in technology and even manufacturing has been down like 13 months in a row. So there are some industries that are doing okay. Services are doing okay. Retail and restaurants have recovered, and that's great news. But you can't just make this blanket statement that the entire American economy is going good. There are plenty of people and plenty of businesses out there that are, facing significant challenges this year.
What could the president possibly do? They've struggled as far as communicating the Bidenomics, the numbers that they want to get out there. What can they possibly do in these next couple of months that would change the way Americans feel?
I really think that they need to start reporting the news accurately. I really think instead of putting this rosy numbers or this rosy picture on what is, a very challenging environment for a lot of people, I think the president should be admitting that, costs have gone up significantly since I've taken office. This is why, and this is what we're trying to do about it. And we understand that, people are struggling right now, and we're working very hard for you. But I think the president's biggest mistake, Molly, is that he's not saying that. He's not admitting that people are challenged and struggling, even to buy eggs and bread at the supermarket. And when he's not admitting that and painting a picture that all is good or all is rosy, that just has a significant impact on his credibility. And I think that's going to really affect him when November comes along.
Yeah, I mean, there's a wide variety of media, too, of course, covering the economy from all different kinds of angles. There are entire portions of our media committed to doing just that. There are headlines from Newsweek and the Washington Post, claiming that the economy was booming under Biden every day. Americans, well, not feeling it. In a headline from The Atlantic, even reading, "Why Americans Hate a Good Economy." But as I mentioned, that recent Fox News polling found just 14% of Americans claim they've been helped by President Biden's economic policy, while 46% they've been hurt by the president's agenda. I mean, those are some tough numbers heading into an election year.
They really are. You know what I've also learned, Molly, over the years is that the economy is so much to do with psychology and sentiment, And, since the Biden administration has taken office, there has been very much of more of a pro-worker, sort of an anti-business sentiment. I mean, there's been significant regulations, not only from the federal level, but also at the state and local level around. They've all been following his lead. That really has an impact on businesses, whether or not they want to invest or hire or spend money. And that ultimately reverberates down to the consumer. So if there was something to be done to increase that pro-business sentiment, that might have an impact, but I'm not feeling very optimistic that's going to happen.
Yeah, great point there about our small businesses. Gene Marks, thank you so much. Happy New Year.
You too, Molly. You take care.